Hey, what's going on Facebook? What's going on live stream world? What's going on WLVS listeners everywhere out there, wherever you are, whoever you are. It's the Nitty Gritty Show.
The nitty gritty.
And I'm your boy, Jay DeCosta. We have
Tay Jordan.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty. Katniss couldn't be here today. She is celebrating with her mother, who is graduating with her master's degree at Case University. So clap it up.
Cheers to the graduates.
Yeah. So, but she'll be back with us next week. So we're excited about having our Miss Katniss back. But then we also have a special guest in the building today. We are excited about this. We've been talking about this all week. Yeah. Markita Bryant. Markita Bryant is the founder of Living for Youth Tomorrow. She's an activist for women and also youth in the area. And she's doing a great work, has worked with a lot of people on the Hill. She's like Miss Popularity out there. So for all you are watching as a result of Markita, thank you. And continue to watch us, going forward. So yeah, we're definitely happy to have Markita on. And at this time, we always do a How Was Your Week? So we're going to start with you, Markita. How was your week this week?
My week was blessed. I bought a new car.
Nice.
Yes.
New whips. Hey. Okay.
And I'm just relaxing for a change.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
That's good. Man, well, I had a blessed week. I had a very, very blessed week. I just got back from Cuba.
Woo.
Yeah.
Spent the week in Cuba, and it was an amazing trip. I think that, we complain a lot in America, and I think sometimes I'll be needing time away out the States to realize how much I really appreciate, being an American. Just certain things that we take for granted, the little things too, like access to internet, access to clean water, and the food we waste even. So it was an eye-opening experience for me, but we had some fun as well. Ooh. And kicked it on the beach. Nice. So I had a great week, man. I'm happy to be back though, and getting down to the nitty-gritty for sure.
Yeah, we happy to have you back. We missed you.
Aww, that's special.
But look, we did miss you, so it's good to have you back. We'll have the whole team back again next week,
definitely.
So that'll be dope. But yeah, as far as my week, it was cool. The 9 to 5 and treating me good, so I can't even complain there.
Working man is a blessed man.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah. If you don't work, you don't eat. We was told that all the time growing up in our house. So that was never even an option not to work as a man. But blessed week. Weather's been a little bipolar. Like, it don't know if it wants to be 90. It don't know if it wants to be summer or like just late spring yet.
It's like you see, I got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I got a little jacket because it's
not Cuba.
Yeah, not Cuba. And I had a feeling you went to Cuba to just kind of test out the area because eventually we all gonna have to probably run to Cuba because that's what all the old civil rights activists had to do the first time.
Hey,
so
I'm actually right. So the documentary I'm working on actually in the steps of Assata Shakur. So I'm like, man, may have to be my home.
Yeah.
While I be playing because getting back here, seeing what Trump is doing, it's like, man.
Yeah. I feel like we all gonna be on that hit list eventually one day. We're gonna have to make that move. I'm happy everybody had a blessed week. We always do a to hell with and the blessings too. I'm going to save the blessings for last, but we're going to definitely get into this hell with first. So to hell with, I got 2 of them. That's how I was feeling. I started off with 4. Oh. But we cut it down. I was like, okay, I can't just be telling everybody to hell with. So to hell with this week, first one is the romp hymn. Ooh. Like, if you guys have seen a romp hymn or a male romper, like Slim, we're not doing that. Like, for real, like, I'm a real one, and all the real ones that know me, we not doing romp hymns. These are some real sisters. I don't think y'all fooling with brothers that do romp hymns, right?
It's not for me personally, but I do think this is a whole nother discussion too, because me and my homeboy were just talking about this about is it a disconnect between not guys that's hyper masculine? I don't think it's necessarily hyper masculine just being like doing traditional male stuff, which is not wearing a romper. But guys like Young Thug say, I'm not necessarily gay. I'm just pushing the envelope with fashion. Russell Westbrook is one of my favorite players, and he dresses quite out there sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I think it's
feminine manner.
Yeah, but on the court it's something different.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. They say the man don't make the clothes don't make the man. So I don't know. But for me personally, it's not my cup of tea.
No, absolutely. You know how much work it takes to put on one? You have to pull it down.
And just that visual, it's like...
Use the bathroom, you have to take the whole thing off. Like,
it's kind of like...
No, not for guys, no.
Yeah. And if it's a zip up in the back, who we got... Do you be like, baby, can you zip me?
Yeah.
It's like, come on now, let's zip each other.
Yeah, that's that.
No,
bro.
Yeah, we're not going out.
I bet not see any of my peoples out here walking.
And hold your gut in.
Like.
Cause you gotta put that Spanx on.
See, then that opens up a whole nother can of bags. Like you gotta have the Spanx on and other.
Yeah, it's like
it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. It's like so. Yeah, the hell.
So it's like, what's next?
Yeah, like we just need to shut this one down before they get popping. And then the next one, everybody knows I'm a big Charlemagne, the God fan, and. But at the same time, I've been watching this whole LeVar Ball controversy with the one chick, Kristen.
Oh man,
I can't think of her last name right now.
I don't know. We gonna just call her her.
Sport. Yeah, like her. Yeah, her. She pulled the whole white woman privilege. She tried it. Tried to act like she was scared, and I'm not gonna put out what's been put out there. If you guys are not aware of it, go look up the video. But anyways, to hell with Jason Whitlock. He's in the sucking place for real, and that information that was put out on him was wonderful. Like, they called out all his cards, and it was just kind of like, bro, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Jason, just being, coming from a journalistic background, Jason has been in the sucking place for a very long time now. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy that people are putting the heat to his, to him, because I think that it's long overdue. But Jason, it wasn't surprising to me, because it's like, this dude been that way.
Yeah. So, we gotta start supporting each other, and then when we have people within our own communities purposely tearing us down,
absolutely.
And it comes in many forms. It comes in the form of Jason Whitlock, but it comes in the form of gangs that would shoot the faces of folks that look just like him. I mean, we shouldn't kill anyone, period, right? But at the same time, it's like, why are you gonna want to destroy the face of the person that looks just like you?
Exactly.
Like that's where we should see love first.
One thing is too, we got to stop giving, making these guys in the second place notoriety, like the Sheriff David Clarks, the Jason Whitlocks, these guys get the microphone way too often. So, but what can you do? They come a dime a dozen.
That's why the nitty gritty here, though. Yeah. We gotta set that balance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why we here. That's why we have this platform. That's why you have lovely ladies like Miss Markita Bryant on the show, because we have to make sure these voices are heard and these conversations are had. So that's why the nitty gritty here. We jam faces with the blackjuice.com. We making it pop. So it happened for a reason. It all led to this. But we always give blessings to, of course, his birthday just passed, Malcolm X.
Yes, absolutely.
Big shout out to Malcolm X.
For sure.
Everybody talks
any
about
means necessary.
Yeah, and shout out to my homegirl Misha, in Clarksville, Tennessee. We had this conversation via Facebook not too long ago about you see all these shout outs for Biggie and Tupac on their death day, their born day, but people forget about Martin and Malcolm,
right.
And these two brothers, despite whatever faults they may have had or doctrines you didn't fully agree with at certain integral parts of their career or their movement, you can't deny what they did for the uplifting of all people, especially black people.
Oh yeah, we're still being, the influence of Malcolm and Martin. We're still feeling that, and I think that's going to be something to make that impact that's everlasting on people that look like you. That's what it's all about. So we definitely, much respect to Malcolm X. That's my guy right there. So happy B-Day.
Yes. So happy belated B-Day, Malcolm X. We appreciate you. Blessings out to you, sir, your family, and what you just done for us, and the inspirations you've been to all of us. So, blessings too. But, of course, now we about to get down to the nitty-gritty.
Hey.
This is what we're here for today. We're going to be talking about black women supporting the civil rights movement. We're going to be just talking about women's rights. What does that mean for our sisters in relation to just all women, how that's painted in America? And, we have a lot of young listeners listening in. I know a lot of your mentees are signing in with us today with their mothers. So I think some important information for them. I have daughters, so I know that my daughter Amira always catches this show on YouTube, so there's information I want her to see. And then there's a lot of lovely young ladies out there that need to catch this information. There's some grown women and they see that, and also even though this is a conversation about women, brothers are a part of this conversation still. Sisters have been a part of our conversation. Whenever it's anything that deals with us, so definitely we have to be a part of their conversation, because we're a team together. So that's why I wasn't gonna this exit stage left and not be on. This is an important subject.
For sure.
Exactly. So we have a clip we're gonna play, and then we're gonna kind of get into some questions and some conversations we have available. So if y'all can, Max, rock that clip for us, and then we're gonna get into it.
Hey.
there wasn't even stated very many men who embraced what we now would call feminism. I mean, we women had to fight for our place, and we almost didn't do it based on, I guess you would say, feminist principles, but based on, hey, we do the work, we go to jail, we get beaten, we're doing the same thing you do. So we have as much right to determine the direction of this movement as you do.
That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and given the best place wherever. Nobody helps me into carriages, nor over the muddy patches, or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could best me ever. Ain't I a woman? I could work as hard and eat as much as a man when I could find it, and take the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children and seen most of them sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, no one but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman?
I don't know that I've ever faced discrimination as a woman as yet. And I think that's because the racial situation in America makes most black women face discrimination as black. I mean, when we look at the history of slavery, we have a whole situation where no one cared if you were a woman or not. You had to get out into the field. Or after freedom, no one cared whether you were a woman or not. You had to work to support your family. So black women, that's one of the problems that women's lib has, I think, in relating to the black woman. They look at themselves as women, but we've had to look at ourselves as black.
Wow. So that was an awesome video, right?
Yes.
And there's a point, and I want you guys to jump right into this. One thing, and it's something that Nikki Giovanni ended on, and I want to touch on that, which is, she talked about, being a woman and women's rights, but then she talked about how, her rights are always identified being black first. Mm-hmm. And, you two are sisters doing really well, very accomplished at an early age in life. Mm-hmm. And, do you feel that way? Because there's a lot of feminist movements out here. And, and for brothers, we don't want to be on the wrong side of this. We want to know, how do we support you guys? Mm-hmm. And so do we support you from understanding what people see first, sometimes your color? Mm-hmm. Or do we support you by your gender first? Mm-hmm. I have my own ideas, but I want to hear from the sisters,
Sure.
Definitely on this.
Well, I think it's an important discussion for sure. I think it's a complex one. Particularly me, myself, obviously, as a black woman, I think that if you go back to history, like the women's suffrage movement and stuff like that, or even fast forward to where we are today, I know a lot of black men, not to make a generalization, but a lot of black men I've talked to personally feel as though like the feminist movement is something that's an attack on black men, which I don't necessarily, I know that that's not the case. But I also don't believe like the women's suffrage movement and like the feminist movement was something that was originally for us as black women. I think that we kind of joined on because we are women, but I do think in terms of your question, which is an important one, do you see gender or race first? I think that I can't disconnect myself from obviously my race. I am a black woman. I'm a woman, but I'm a black woman. So that's a bit different than like, a white woman. It's different. My experience is different. What I go through, the rights even that I've had, or what I've had to work up to, has been a little different progression. It looks a little bit much different. So you want to add into that?
I guess for me, being into the women's movement as a 30-year-old young African American woman from the inner city who's fighting with known women like from the UN Women's Organization. when you walk into those rooms, they do see color first. But I think it also is up to you when you walk into that room to make them see what your stance on the issues are first. Back in the day, I don't think that African American women, black women were the focus within the movement. I think it was a Caucasian women's movement. It seems like we helped progress that. And there has been a great divide when it comes between white women and black women. But now it's up to us to see and strategize as to how we're going to kick down the door and just do it. I guess for me, I'm always about the bottom line. So you have some feminists who's out here that they're focused on the bottom line. But I also can't forget that I'm a black woman first and foremost. I'm a black mom first and foremost. I'm a black sister. I'm a black daughter. So when I go into these rooms, I'm speaking from a perspective as a black woman.
Exactly.
You have a lot of people who are African American women who are in the big feminist movements of everything, as you can see the big march on Capitol Hill, but you have some who choose to isolate themselves from that. So it's a preference, but I can say coming up, I was taught from my grandmother, who was a fighter for women's rights, to do the right thing and to be proud of being black. Martin Luther King said that, I'm black and I'm proud, I'm beautiful, So for me, that's my first stance. They see that I'm an African-American young woman first, and then they say, okay, what issues are you tackling? So that's how my perspective is.
Yeah, and I also think that what's interesting is that the plight of black women is much different than like the plight of a white woman. And I think a lot of times when we talk inclusivity and, togetherness, and it shouldn't be a divide among women. There is, we should have all unity and stuff like that. But I think a lot of times, particularly Caucasian women, like they will unify when it's regarding something that pertains to them and something that's on their agenda, whereas like I mentioned before, sometimes the experience that we have is a bit different. So my priorities as a black woman may not necessarily match those priorities as a white woman. So I find, like, I did the Women's March, and just being out there, it seems as though like it was like a separation in togetherness. And I don't know what we can do to change that, but I do think a lot of times us as black women, like, we would get the remnants of like the women's suffrage, stuff like that. But I think that we need to all unify to be able to. They have to care about what's important to us as well. And I think that it's 2017, and they still don't necessarily care about what bothers us. And it can't be, well, I'm a woman, but I'm not a black woman, so I don't know what your experience is, so that don't have nothing to do with that. It's like, no, we're in this together, so my problems need to be your problems as well. Even if it may not necessarily directly affect you. You a woman, I'm a woman, so these problems, we got to all throw them in the bag, and let's attack this together. So that's just my stance on it.
And to add to that, we do have a lot of Caucasian women who do fight for black women behind the scenes.
That's true.
And they don't have the mic. And that's my issue at this point, because I do work side by side with them, Latino women, any type of race I work, but they don't have the mic. So the ones who have the mic and who can do this, I just want them to step up a little bit more.
That's true. That's right.
And that kind of rolls me into some like things I had looked up and some interesting data. So like, if you just look at this current media or just some of the past things we've seen, right? The Women's March, a lot of people were using the hashtag nasty woman, but that was in relation to Donald Trump attacking Hillary Clinton. And then you've seen a lot of women get up in arms when various prominent white faces in the media were attacked. And no one really worried about Donald Trump and from a feminist movement. He had been assaulting women of color or from other nationalities. It wasn't until he was on the show and he was saying, grabbing by an inappropriate place that then women became up in arms about him, as if like y'all didn't see all the other things he had already said.
Yeah, that's true. And even if you look at how the narrative played out in terms of, looking at social media and seeing all the derogatory terms that a lot of white women refer to our former first lady, Michelle Obama. And if you look at, I feel like even my mom in that generation, like a lot of black women voted for Hillary. And I feel like us black women, we don't really see color like that. Like we all together, we all women, like we in this together. Whereas white women, and I don't want to make a generalization because you're right. I know there's a lot of brown women, white women that is down for the cause. but many of them are not, particularly white women. And I don't know if that's a middle America type of thing or class type of thing, but it's a problem, and it's been a problem. And, I mean, it's been problems for hundreds of years. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I definitely think it's a classism type. I'm here, you're there.
Yeah.
Type. I think that's what I'm seeing more. So.
And it escalates. It goes even into the professional world. You
Yes.
see it as you go up the corporate ladder. I used to work in corporate America, and it's just like, I don't know what it is. It's like it's not a tension, I want to say, but it's like it's a broad disconnect.
Yeah.
It's a broad disconnect.
And I feel like a lot of times black women are the leaders to normally help all women. Because, like, for instance, some other examples I had was, let's just keep it real. That black girl magic is a real thing.
Right.
And, you know, for instance, like, when Bill O'Reilly made the comments about Maxine Waters and her hair, the James Brown thing, you know, I didn't see these same women, you know, the Gwyneth Paltrows of the world and all these
And
folks
that's
that are at
what
the
hurts.
Women's March. All these folks that came and flooded D.C. for a weekend, I didn't hear any of them speak to defend her. I didn't see any women. Those women didn't defend Michelle Obama. They didn't defend Serena Williams when they would compare her to a gorilla.
Right.
But, you know, black people spoke out and, you know, supporting our sister. But those same white women that, you know, the nasty women speech and all that stuff, where were you at?
And where
At
was
that
the
time
women
of
that
the-
marry our men at too? Like, or
Yeah.
raising black sons. Like, so they're never anywhere to be found either.
Yeah, no, and then, you know, and where were they at when Sandra Bland died, right? So my thing about the, you know, some of the feminist movements is, you know, I really can't rock with them most of the time, and the reason why is because I don't feel like they take care of women that look like my mother, that look like the kind of women I've dated, that look like my daughters. You know what I'm saying? They don't look like those women, so therefore it's like I can't get behind you. And then unfortunately, I've been attacked by sisters when I say it because they're like, oh man, you know, so you don't support women's rights? Like, no, I support women's rights. I feel like women should be able to vote. Women should get equal pay. There's no reason why women are only getting like 75% or 75 cents to our dollar when in the workplace. I mean, so definitely I don't rock with that, but I can't support the feminist movement because the feminist movement and legacy has only supported white women.
That's true, and that's what I was saying. Like, black women we traditionally get the remnants of what's left. You know what I'm saying?
It's okay.
Okay.
This is the show we get to disagree.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to add to it?
Well, for me, I would label I'm a feminist. And I would say that I'm a proud feminist, but I also say, like in the beginning, it's up to you to redefine what's happening. Like, I don't focus on, I understand the issues and the problems we are facing, but for me, I'm focused on the bottom line. How can I make something better for my quote unquote young women, senior season, because I don't want to say seniors, but for my black women. But also, I don't want to be where it's a divide. I'm tired of hearing about the divide. It's always a divide since we were growing up in past tense. It's always a divide, segregation. I want everyone to join forces. How can I be the person to help join forces? So maybe I can be that missing link to a feminist movement. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be hard. But how do I kick down the door and say, okay, I understand what's happening now and I don't agree with it? As you were saying, I don't agree with that. But at the same time, I'm looking at it from a different aspect. Like, I'm going to change this because I feel like that's what I need to do.
See, me personally, I'm not a feminist. I personally, I don't believe that the term within itself, it wasn't something that was created with us in mind, and it wasn't something that was for us. So I don't know if it's just a term that messes me up, but I don't necessarily. My ideals doesn't necessarily always align with feminist ideals. I mean, I'm well read. I done read bell hooks, stuff like that, and feminist movement and how it started. Obviously, as a woman, I'm all for women's rights. One thing I would disagree with is I think it's you are a feminist, so maybe you can tell me where I'm wrong. It seems as though it's a lot that is said to be feminist is a lot of disconnect between. I don't do the male bashing thing. A lot of people on Facebook say that I do, but I actually don't, and I actually don't even call myself a feminist. My main concern is my freedoms and my liberties. I want the same pay as you do as a male, as a white woman, but I don't necessarily do the label and calling myself a feminist because I do disagree with some things.
And I mean that's a good thing. And I was just sitting down with the executive director for UN Women, and she honestly summed it up for me a month ago. And I was we was at John Hopkins, I believe, and she actually summed it up to where I really understood what was happening. And she said that we cannot just be male bashing is horribly wrong. Like I don't agree with that. I won't take into no parts of that. So even on my social media, people can see that I don't do that.
Right.
I call people kings and queens. But one thing she did say is, in order for our movement to get to where it needs to be, we have to bring men into the conversation because men are needed.
And that's one thing I do. I'm heavy on social media, Facebook in particular, and I'm always trying to like challenge men. You know what I'm saying? Because you're right. They are, for us to get ahead, we're gonna have to do this together. So. I don't know though, but we got a lot of work ahead. It's a lot of work.
You know, there's definitely a lot of work ahead, and then brothers, we definitely play a part in that, and we've talked about this on previous shows. But some of the images that we put out, some of the things we support, some of the things that we glorify with women, that also teaches a message as to how girls are going to be respected. I mean, there's just so many different things that we can do just to show that we value women. And, just like there's a certain music I don't listen to in my car. Like there'll never be a time that a woman will come in my car and hear someone being called a derogatory name,
Yes.
The B word, the H words, and all that stuff out there, because I just don't entertain that stuff in my spirit.
And see, that's why I can't call myself a feminist, because I'll be the same one that put on Future, and I know that, and I know that I'm conflicted. I know I shouldn't, but I mean, some things I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect.
And be yourself, like, and this whole thing, there will be slip ups when you do listen to that.
And I'll be listening to the music, I'm like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
And you're like, did I do that?
But one thing, and that's what I think is important too, you got to be able to separate yourself from the music. I don't call myself the B word. I don't call my friends that. So I mean, it's a you got to be able to separate reality from art, from music, entertainment, stuff like that. So.
And I guess for men, I was just having a sit down with a lot of young brothers, and they were saying, and I was just talking to them, and I said, you wouldn't think that skinny jeans would be cool if women didn't like it. Or you wouldn't feel as though this haircut, the mohawk, was cool unless the woman liked it. And they were like, yeah, you're right. If she wasn't feeling this or women wasn't feeling this, I probably would go with something else. So it's a two-way street,
Do women like it, though?
What does that mean?
See, that's the difference between real ones and I don't know.
But I mean,
none of the sisters I would go for would want to see a brother in those skinny jeans.
No, skinny jeans out. No. But I just want to say, like, one thing that we did have a conversation with is, like, I had an even exchange with young brothers, and I'm like, okay, some things that you are putting this pressure on young women to do. Like, I have a lot of young teens who feel as though they have to wear crop tops, or they jeans is tight as a yeast infection about to happen for anyone to notice them. And I explained to them, you're putting this out there like you're not noticeable to me unless you're showing this. Yeah. And so we also have to have that exchange for men. And that's why it also comes back to we have to work with men if we're going to.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I definitely agree with that. And that's one thing I was saying I challenge men, because some of the things that they encourage and they promote, it just doesn't align with what's going to be better for us in the long run. So I do think men definitely has a responsibility, and a lot of them just does not. They just drop the ball a lot of times.
Yeah, but to play devil's advocate, because this is what I do from time to time. But to play devil's advocate,
what one do you have to say?
But there are some brothers out there like myself, no, but and honestly, like, and I guess because you're attracted to what you're about. So I know a lot of the guys I'm in fellowship with, and I deal with, whether at my church or through school, just the homies or folks that I deal with at work. A lot of these guys like women who will look like a lady out and about. Like they don't want the stuff tight. And I've been with women before where you may, I guess maybe I was chastising because that's the way my words are. But it's kind of like, I mean, why are you dressed like that? You know, you going out with me, you know, this is like, you know, a thing.
Speak into the mic for that. Why you just say, why you dressed like that?
You know, like why are you dressed like that? Like, you know, we going out and about. Like, I don't want people seeing what's mine.
Yeah.
Or supposed to be mine. Or like, you know.
I thought most men wanted a bad B. Ain't that what they said?
And that's what's
so they play, and that's why I'm playing devil's advocate
now.
of the Good Brothers, because it's like, you know, there are some men out there who are ignorant, but then it's the more ignorant of us out there who are propagating that message. But there's a lot of brothers who we just don't have the mic, but now we got one.
Okay.
And then there's others out there that got the mic too.
Nitty
but,
gritty.
Yeah, Nitty Gritty got a mic, but it's like, hey, but at the same time, it's, you know, I want a woman to look like a woman. And then, you know, in the private, you know, if the relationship is there, you know, you're married or whatever, and then, you know, you're home and then you want to, you know, be sexy, that's the time to be sexy. But I don't want my woman sexy out in public because I don't want people all up in your stuff. And then, you know, I want them to see a lady first. So, I mean, there's some brothers out there, but I've been snapped on by like, oh, so you don't want me to look nice? I'm doing this for you. No, you ain't doing it for me because I've already made it clear I like you covered up. And I'm not trying to say you got to be from neck to foot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be, you know, rocking the whole nun outfit. But I'm just saying, like, you can, there's ways you could, you don't have to put every curve out. I've seen some girls like this big, and I see every little curve they got. Oh, wow. And it's like, it ain't, like you said, the whole yeast efficient tight
and
jeans,
it's like and I appreciate you as being a black man and saying that, but I do see where the criticism from other women can come in, and now you get into like, you got one, it's like it's double-edged sword. On some side of the spectrum, you got some women like, oh, I'm not about to objectify my body and stuff like that, and then on the other end, you got some women like, can't no man tell me what to wear. You know, it's empowerment, and I can do what I want to do. And
you know what? You actually
you're
going to segue into our next video. So I want to go ahead and play because this is the perfect time to go ahead and drop this one.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, drop this next video. So got a video. You all know who this lady is. Everybody remembers this movement when it came out, and I want to talk about this because there's a lot of sisters. I seen it split. I seen a lot of women, especially black women, get behind it. Mm-hmm. And I had some that criticized it. I know where you guys stand already. I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I want to play this next video, and then we're going to just kind of go into there because I think our young sisters need to see this and you know, kind of visualize where we're coming from.
Topic number 2.
Oh,
Amber Rose is organizing a slut walk in response to the constant name calling she deals with on social media and on the streets. So just to give you some background, slut walks began in Toronto as a protest against any and all derogatory comments towards women. What do we think, Slade or shade?
Slade.
I think
we got shade. One shade.
I'm indifferent.
Oh, wait, so we don't have
I don't know. Is it like this? Flipping like this? Yeah.
So then let me start with you. Why are you indifferent?
Well, okay. I appreciate what she's saying about the slut walk, and especially the horrible comment Kanye said about taking the 30 showers and all that stuff. So I think she slayed it on that point. Where I give her a little shade is I still don't agree with her Instagram photos and the negligee and the butt thong and the beach pictures. Like, I think she's pushing the line a bit. Maybe I'm being a little prudish, but I do appreciate what she's trying to do and have a real conversation. Yes.
Okay. Sean?
For me, it's Slade with a caveat, right?
Okay.
So, listen, it's amazing to be able to tell young women everywhere that, like, you can be sexual and you shouldn't be objectified and you shouldn't be an object, right? Like, really own your sexuality, which she does, and I think it's a great message. At the same time, I think she may be jumping on a campaign to kind of further hype her book. I don't think that she's really a part of
there's
it.
a book coming out.
Oh, yes, of course. There's always a book coming out.
There's a book.
And
there's always a book.
So it feels a little bit disingenuous to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's shade. I'm not doing no slut walk. I'm not doing no thought try. It's just certain things. It's just certain things that I'm not gonna do.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm invited, but I'm not trying to shade, even though everybody calls me the shade queen. What does she actually do for a living that we gonna walk and be sluts?
I understand what you're saying.
I'm like, what does she do? I'm not trying to, like, for real. If somebody could tell me what she does that gives her this platform, the slut walk, and she even said, I saw what she said, Khloe can even join her on the walk.
Right.
The Kardashians can join.
Listen,
You really think they gonna
like
join
an
in?
olive branch or something along there.
Girl, that was shade. Because she knows she don't want Khloe there. And she know Khloe not gonna show up. She know Chris not gonna even allow.
Nobody's walking. Nobody's walking.
Mother Chris.
Nobody's walking.
Do not.
So like the conversation went there just in time,
Right.
And then that's like just the cherry on top to be like, okay, let's light the dynamite. But yeah, because this infuriated me when I saw it, because it was like, and I get it, and I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot of input for that, but you see a lot of women that's like, they want to be able to walk around naked or in a fashion that represents something that we've seen described as a prostitute or a stripper. But you can't walk around like that and expect men to respect you. Now, at the same time, I don't feel like you should disrespect a woman just because she's dressed that way. But there is a certain type of attention you're garnering when you do that. And men who want to get married, who want to have families, who want to go home at 9 o'clock and just, after working or whatever, don't need the night out with the boys. I would say men like myself. We don't want that. All right. Now I get it. The ball players, the rappers.
It's a large pool of men that's waiting to they turn to wife it or something like that. But
I always like to put out there, and I know that we have these young ladies watching, but I like to put that out. I want to look at the camera wherever it is. All right, listen. There's men out there. They will deal with you when you dress that way. Matter of fact, Pastor Reverend Watley preached about this at Reed Temple North today. Oh wow. So me and my brother in unison. There are men out there that will have fun with a woman like that. They will temporarily use a woman like that. They will sow their royal seeds with a woman like that, but they will not cherish or respect
you
a woman
screwing
like
on the
that.
side of Tyrese right now.
No, but it's true though. No, but it's true. It's true. There are men out there who are sometimes decent guys. They'll use a woman like that, but they don't want to marry a woman like that. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not supporting, even dealing with those kind of women. I'm not supporting that. But let's not act like, allowing a girl to dress like that and think that she's going to be respected the way that she would really want to be respected. You're not going to be held to the same level as a Michelle Obama or a Nikki Giovanni dressed like that.
Right.
The two of you look really nice, but y'all don't got nothing popping out, nothing nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
That's not my thing.
So I'm just saying, there's a way to be beautiful and attractive,
right?
And I'm sapiosexual anyway, so I'm attracted to that intelligence. But there's a way to be beautiful without being.
No, I agree. I just think that it's a very complex topic because I understand when women are saying that I should have the ability to dress as I please. You as a man do. So I get that, but this whole Amber Rose thing, me personally, I'm not about to get out there and do no slut walk or nothing like that. It's just not my thing. But for some woman that aspires to do that, hey, do what you want to do. But I do think that in terms of the images that's put out there, like for instance, Kanye West had a statement a couple years back when he said some outrageous thing. He's like, his wife, who is obviously Kim K, he said that Kim Kardashian is more influential than First Lady Michelle Obama, which as crazy as it is, I was like, wow, that's so bad. But what was sad is that he's probably right, and that's the sad thing about it is that we put so much into these negative images that what's said is this is what's getting the press, the Amber Rose slut walk, the Kim K sex tape and stuff like that. What's not getting the press is all these sisters, these beautiful sisters graduating college and going out here and being great images and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that it's particularly the youth. They got so many things that's coming at them in terms of what type of woman that they should grow or aspire to be. But in terms of getting back to the slut walk thing, I do think that you can't necessarily tell a woman what to wear. I do disagree with, it's inviting, you wanted it, or, I'm not going to respect you because of what you have on. I get it, but it's not necessarily right, is what I'm saying.
So I'll, speaking to the mic for that one, I do agree that image is everything. That's what I tell my young ladies every day. Image is everything. Like today, even though it's a Sunday, I'm still going to do something because when I'm representing young women at the end of the day, and we have so much projected into our communities, like, oh, you have to be this Nicki Minaj image and get the fake breasts and butt and all of that liposuction and everything under the sun. The slut walk originally was for a different cause. What Amber Rose did it for, I'm not quite sure. So I don't want to speak on Amber Rose too much, but I will say that a woman has a right to choose on what she wants to wear and how she feels. I also want to make sure we are clear that rape or anything like that. It's not a gesture as to what you were wearing, because I do want to be clear for that for young women.
Definitely.
Some people who may be watching, but I also want to encourage adult women to talk to our young women that, hey, you're beautiful because we have these billboards, we have these music videos, we have these people who come into our community and say, hey, sex sells, and that's the only way you're going to get ahead. I grew up in Ward 8, and they say, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're going to make a killing. What do you mean I'm going to make a killing? I have 3 brothers. You probably get killed saying that to me,
Mm-hmm.
But they tell you that as a young woman early. Oh, because you have these people when you're growing up, they may be out there with your brothers, but they're looking at you as you grow. And they say, oh, your hips are filling out. Oh, you really wearing those Persuco jeans? I had Persucos back in the day with Reeboks, okay? So you're evening out. So you have to be careful and mindful, and it goes back to men as well, because it's an uncomfortable zone to have a man tell you what not to do, but we appreciate that. And you can say, I think it's all in the wording, like, hey, honey, I think that this would look better on you because it brings out your eyes. But if you say, why you have that on, like, that messes with our self-esteem, many women's self-esteem. And then they're like, okay, I need to back up off of him. But some women, it's at the level of your dating. Like, some men like that.
And some women, I think with Amber Rose, her whole motive behind it is like this push to make women feel empowered, which I don't see anything empowering about it.
That's
but
that's on my butt.
Yeah, but I mean, every woman don't think like you and I. So I mean, you got some women out there, and they down whatever, and it doesn't necessarily mean that because I walk with my butt cheeks out that I mean. It looks that way. That's what what you give out. You probably get back. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man.
That was a different movement, so it kind of got blurred because it went on a whole different focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the original movement was something different. I know it was originated in Europe, and I understood that. But and the reason why we played the Amber Rose one, because I think it spoke more to the American culture of how we look at the slut walk and all of that. But I mean, you're on it.
And she was saying like, taking a word that was so negative, and she, I guess, attempt to make it positive and empowering.
But you can't make that word positive. It's meant to be. It's like,
look his face.
Like, as a man, you can't call me.
People say they take the N word and took it and made it something.
No, but I don't.
Positive.
I don't. Yeah, you just don't do that. Like, and like that's like saying, oh yeah, you my boy. I'm sorry, you're not gonna call me.
I'm just
boy.
playing devil's advocate.
No, I got you. Somebody got to do it. But like when I'm at work, don't call me dog. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're account managers. So like when you're there, you're going to address me as such. Now I got some people I might be cool with. So like, hey, what's up, bro? Whatever. But same time, in professionalism, I'm not meeting a client for the first time. I wish a client would tell me, yo, what's up, dog? Because I might have to like walk away from that meeting. I'm going to have to be like, hey, yeah, so
time to go.
Address me flag on the play.
Yes.
I'm tired of you, little buddy. I'm not your dog. Like, I don't know what you're here for. Like, I'm here to do a job. So, no, but I think we have to have that, and somewhere you got to draw the line. And I know they say that women don't want to be told what to wear, and I'm not saying like wear that particular dress. I'm just saying
don't wear that.
Don't wear that one with your but don't wear the one with your cheeks out.
But
like,
do you see how it's a thin line? Because now the question becomes why. Like, who are you to dictate to me what I should or should not wear?
So I say it the same way I tell young men. Why are you dressed like a thug? You get what I'm saying? Like, and I know people feel like that's a thin line, right? It's like there's certain things that people wear. Like, okay, and we're taught from kids to judge people about what they have on. If I have on a long white coat and a stethoscope, I'm a doctor, right? If I have on a blue uniform with a badge, I'm a
police officer.
Exactly. If I have on a red helmet with like some type of blue uniform or something to go with it, I'm a
red helmet
firefighter.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll try to go with the traditional look.
Okay.
Now they look more mechanized or whatever. But anyways, we
so
judge
now
people
you get
behind...
into some respectability politics too. No.
I mean,
like look the part.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Professional or personal?
Well, I'm just saying, like, for instance, like personally, well, for professional reasons, like, yeah, there's a certain things I don't think you should just. There's a certain way, a look you want to stay away from.
Right.
But then there's some things where I think where the line is crossed is when you can't help it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for instance, like I can't help the way my hair is. Mm-hmm. So don't tell me that I look unprofessional because I have kinky hair. Mm-hmm. No, that's just how I am.
But what if somebody don't want to subscribe to that? Like, what if my brother want to wear a white T-shirt, not necessarily because it's a thug look. It's just like, dang, I like white T-shirts.
Growing up on that. And you also have to be mindful of generations, what they pass down. Like, you have women who's taught that from generations to generation to generation. You have grandmas that's in their 50s still wearing it. So they're taught that. It's a taught mentality of how they're supposed to dress. And they don't know that until they step out of their community and step out of their boundaries, that they say, okay, well, maybe I should try this out because I really like that and that's who I am here. Because you have this preference in these households where it say, well, you should wear this and you should do this and you should stay like this. But until you step out of those boundaries, you don't see that. For me, my grandmother taught me how to dress. Wear the pearls. Make sure you always keep your face, because you never know what can happen. A news camera be in your face. That's what my grandmother would say. But for me, when I stepped out of Ward 8 and I really stepped into what I wanted to do in life, I saw more of a fashion. So I said, I really like the A-line dresses. I didn't know what a real A-line was. My grandmother knew, and she taught me. And I said, oh, that's a nice dress, Grandma. But I really understood what my actual fashion sense was and what I wanted to do. So I think it's also a taught mentality that many have at this point.
Yeah,
And that's what I try to break for young girls.
No, I understand. I agree, and I think the images that is, like I said, given to the youth, they got so many things that's coming at them in terms of what's promoted. So it's like they being pulled so many different ways. On one end, you got like, go get butt injections, go get implants, you know, do this and that. You dress this way. And on the other end, you got like, no, actually, you don't have to do that. And I feel as though like this side is so much more prevalent and so much more stronger than what they're getting over here, and that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah,
and I think that plays on confidence and self-esteem. Like, they feel as though, you know, to be beautiful, they have to be this way. And it's like, we got a lot of work to do to change that narrative, that popular narrative, because it's not fact.
And when it comes to like a grown man coming in like, wait, and in their 30s, and they're like, wait, don't wear that out. They're like, what are you saying? Like, this was me all my life, and everybody glorified that. Yeah. And they're looking at it like, what did I do? And it takes women into this shell. And you also have to be mindful of that with women, because mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, it all counts as to one thing. And I guess that's what it is. I guess what I said, the wording could be different. Like, I had my brother who, they dated a few. I'm going to say they dated a few, but it's all in how my brother told her, like, hey, you don't have to put that spandex dress on with me. Be yourself and be comfortable. I like when you have this. And it actually changed her whole.
Yeah.
And that's why men like yourself is so important, because you help change that narrative. But then I said before, like she was saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Don't necessarily dictate to me, go in the house, take that off, or else.
Well, no, I'm not saying like, so definitely doesn't be like a, hey, no, Slim. Like, I'm real direct, so I was just like, nah, like, this is a black tie event. Like, I got on a tux, all right? Like,
I feel you.
But your cheeks is hanging. Like, no.
Like, I mean, yeah.
My director gonna be there. Like, no.
And that goes into, you know, what's for you and what's not for you. Right. So certain women you just not gonna approach. And she's probably not trying to attract a man like yourself.
Oh, yeah, no, that's very true. And, you know, I do think, too, in a lot of it with women's rights, you know, a big component of women's rights back in the day was Frederick Douglass. You know, when you look back at his history, he did a lot for women's rights. Unfortunately, I think it benefited more so. Not unfortunately, because it was good that because they needed to get that. Yeah. But those rights, as we talk, benefited probably more so Caucasian women back then, and not all women. Not,
we got it later.
Indian. Yeah, you know, it came eventually, and it always comes eventually. So,
you know how that
but I feel like men have to lead the charge, and a lot of other nationalities. You can't holler at a Spanish. They can dress any kind of way too, but you can't talk to them any kind of way. Because them Spanish men gonna let you know.
Yeah, about that. How about our black men don't allow certain things to happen? Like, I wanted to get into them. We probably don't have time to get into the Malcolm X.
No, but I want to play that video real quick. We're not gonna really have time to get into it, but let's go ahead and play that Malcolm video, because Malcolm's gonna sum it up real quick in like 45 seconds.
I love this one. Put the onus on y'all. Right? Y'all handle that.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. And the only time a Muslim really gets real violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We will kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain, yes. We will kill you for our woman. We believe that if the white man will do whatever is necessary to see that his woman gets respect and protection, then you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and place the same penalty over the head of anyone who puts his filthy hands out to put in the direction of our women. Most disrespected.
And no one says it better than Brother Malcolm.
I don't know if they make them like that. No disrespect. They do. Let me take that back. They make them like that. They just far and few between.
Yeah, and I mean, they out there. And the thing is, but I think it's kind of like what Markita led on with white women supporting black women. There's people of all colors that are really about. I mean, you have your Tim Wises out there, but you have very few that have the mic. And what's been sensationalized are those who speak the common tongue of that middle America or whatever. Like we were just having a conversation earlier, but all those men are white, but they totally agree with what we were talking about with this whole subject. So it's kind of like, I think sometimes, DC, we're privileged that a lot of people around us are woke, but everyone isn't. But yeah, I mean, we have to do like Brother Malcolm. We have to set that same standard, because you don't go into an Asian community, it don't matter what she got on, because they dress provocative too, and like, you can't talk to them any kind of way, like.
Even from a grander scale, though, I think that I challenge black men in particularly, because like when you have situations that happen, such as like Sandra Bland and stuff like that, like just the lack of outcry or the lack of like standing up. I don't feel like, if we're talking from a political standpoint, activism, like black women are always on the front line for black men. If you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, that's led by black women. So when Freddie Gray happens, Tamir Rice happened, it's always black women. Like, and if we're not leading the charge, we in there like heavy. You feel our presence. So I feel as though a lot of times black men are very indifferent to like you got some of the wokest brothers, the Nate Parkers of the world. What's the kid that just created that one movie in Sunken Place? What's that one movie? Get Out. Or,
He's halfway in the second place himself.
But yeah, I just feel like even some of your wokest brothers don't marry black women. So I'm like, how really woke can you be? And that's a whole nother subject. But it's like, y'all be down for the cause for I don't want to make the generalization, so I won't say y'all, but many brothers is like, they don't have that Malcolm spirit, because a lot of them is like, well, I don't necessarily, I don't discriminate. And that's fine, but it's like at the end of the day, your mom is black, your sisters is black. You need to be able to have some type of backbone for us. Like certain things just should not happen. It's just like, well, these things keep happening because instead of a lot of black men protecting us and being there for us, instead, so many of them objectify us. So many of them like, it's just and it starts with the household too. A lot of brothers is just gone, so it already starts there. But I mean, who knows? I don't know how to answer, Sway.
I just don't feel like that's what's been anything. You want to jump in on there too?
Yes, I think black men need to step up, honestly. And speaking on that, on every aspect, I think if you look at like the Tyrese situation, Tyrese was so quick to down our black women, but we were the main ones helping his career in the beginning, or helping him. And he has a biracial daughter. So, I mean, in those instances, I think it just needs to be silenced. I think I'm just tired of black men, and I never bash any black men because I call them kings because we are queens as well. But I think that black men in general need to really be honest with themselves first, but honestly be real and say, okay, our black women are hurting at the end of the day, and we need to do more to help them, to guide them, to bridge that gap that's happening with us, because we're doing it alone on certain aspects.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
That's not cool.
And if you're not helping, you're hurting. You know what I'm saying? Like, either you doing something to right the ship, or you just like, you in the way. So keep it moving, or be quiet. Keep your mouth closed.
We're running out of time, but I am gonna throw these two little points out. Hopefully, we just dig into.
And Juan, I didn't want you to take. But you one man. You can't say.
No, but like I can't say
it's
this
not for all
though.
men.
I can't say this, and we said this before, but I'll say it again because it's always gonna be relevant. I feel like the media only shows one type of black man.
That is exactly
because,
right.
Mind you, I grew up military, so we know we lived all over. Literally lived all over. So growing up all the time, I've always seen a bunch of black men that were married to black women, having homes. I've seen it a lot because growing up, that's what we dealt with. I've gone to predominantly black churches all my life. So there was always black men in there with their wives and stuff. Like I go to Reed Temple where there's a bunch of black men married to black women, holding it down. I feel like sometimes some black men are met with a little bit of resistance. when they try to be down for the movement, because sometimes
Resistance from who? Black women?
Yeah, some black women, and what I mean by that is because sometimes there'll be already a black woman in place leading a charge on something, so then a black man tries to step up and be the man. And then sometimes,
hey, take the lead. I'm tired of being in the lead.
Look.
But he can't Bogart his way in.
I'm not saying the Bogart, but sometimes they'll be like, but wait a
that.
minute, hold up, I make what you make.
No.
See,
she won't let me be the man.
Yes.
Brother, come on, don't feel that way, because that's not.
Come on.
I don't have that problem. I got an A-type personality, so it's kind of like I'm gonna.
I'm a
it's been my mistake. They just walk away, but but at the same time, look, I don't need to really ask permission because I'm just going to go ahead and do it. But not like in a disrespectful way, but as far as like taking charge, being a leader, making the move forward, like you don't have to ask me to go to church.
Right.
I'm telling us like, it's Sunday, let's go.
And so many black women want that.
Yeah. I mean, so that I'm
happening.
not one of those guys. I'm not asking permission to say, let me lead you in prayer. But there's a lot of men out there that just don't feel like they're publicized.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know a lot of men that way though. I don't even know if they be wanting what they see as their equals or what they see as like their helpmates. They want somebody that's like, I'm all for like the man is the leader of the household and stuff like that. But I'm not for like, I have a mind as well. So you're not about to just
but see, don't generalize those kind of men because
some of them get controlling.
my dad, no,
I
because
don't have time for that. 2017.
my father, Herman Altar, he's married to my mom. My mom is a very strong, opinionated woman, but she still submits. You get what I'm saying?
Ooh, that word submit. Wow.
But why do women have such a problem with that word?
I'm fine with that word.
It's not a problem
But
with
she
the
submits.
word.
But you know what?
What is the definition?
Well, I mean,
in the black community, because it's a difference. Because they say if you're not doing what I say right now in 10 seconds, then you're not submitting.
Like, does that mean like iron your underwear and stuff?
No. But I'm just saying like my dad might make. I remember like growing up, my dad might make decisions like, hey, I'm moving this direction with my career. I'm gonna accept this assignment here. He didn't get met with a whole bunch of resistance. Like, oh no, I got friends here. Like, you ain't moving me away to Germany.
Can you not consider our feelings as black women?
No, but there's a way that a strong man presents that.
That's a whole nother topic.
That's right. That's a whole nother topic. and then we're gonna have Markita back again.
We need to talk about this.
You do a lot of stuff for the youth development and just kind of like the structuring of our youth. And I want to have you on for that conversation. And then we need to have this conversation. We do this every time. Conversation starts.
I'm not married because I won't submit.
I ain't no ring on my finger yet.
I compromise, but I won't submit. What's the definition? The definition.
So we don't have time to go into that. But like, so we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. But look, y'all know where to follow us. Tay, tell them where they go follow us.
So make sure you add us on our Facebook page. I can't speak today. Our Facebook page, The Nitty Gritty Show, and also follow us on Twitter at TBJ_Nitty Gritty.
And then Markita, tell them where they follow you at, because you're doing a lot of stuff with mentoring our young women. You're doing a lot of stuff on the Hill with the UN Women's Movement. So I mean, like you're touching so many different places. Tell people where they can follow you, or just to connect with you if they want to know more about what you're doing.
You can visit my website, markitabryant.org, and I only have one social media, unfortunately, because of my job. So Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook.
Yeah, no, we understand. Look, you better keep that 9 to 5. Okay? Until we can totally break away, you just got to do what you got to do.
But I do have something new coming up, so we should see.
Awesome. So yeah, and hopefully we'll be breaking that here too, whenever you do it.
Maybe.
Yeah. We're
use working on that at the moment.
We got to use our resources to support each other. Yeah. Okay. And we support the sisters. Do your thing, like
for sure.
I'm a brother. I support y'all. Yeah, and thank you so much for being on the show. Definitely, if you want to continue the conversation, you know where to find us. Tay has told you, and then but we could continue that conversation, and maybe that's something we'll bring on soon. What does submission mean to you guys? I like you guys to write to us, tell, and then and if you have any thoughts about the show or different things you want to add, please hit us up, say something. And then what's so hard about resharing? Everybody knows that we put this video up on Facebook. Reshare it, tell your friends. You could go to WLVSradio.com to reshare the video. You can follow the YouTube page there. There's so many resources. Get the information out. We have to create these platforms, so we have to support these platforms. Yeah. All right, that's my soapbox. Look, we are the Nitty Gritty. Thanks for being on.
Hey, we out.
Hey. I can't dance with my hands everywhere. Like you was like and spin it.
Did you really?